Can your job actually impact your attractiveness? I know this sounds weird, but in my 12 years of experience as a communications consultant and as a career strategist, I have definitely noticed a link between people's level of attractiveness and their career happiness. So hear me out on this. The first thing is the physical level. So unfortunately, I have met people where their jobs have altered their physical appearance. They have more wrinkles since they started to get more stressed out at work, or if they're in a toxic job, the longer they stay, the more it does start to show on their face. I've met people who have had such horrible job situations that they've started losing their hair, both men and women, noticing bald spots, etc. I even had a client who was actually hospitalized because she had so much stress in her body, it just affected her back and she had to go to the hospital. Luckily, she's left that job. She's in a much better place now. But these are the kinds of things that can happen to you physically when you're in either a toxic job or a job where you're not fulfilling your purpose and you're starting to become less and less confident, etc. You have some of these health consequences and physical consequences. I don't know about you, but have you ever met someone where you can see on their face that they're becoming less attractive physically due to their jobs? You have people who start overeating as well, so you can see that their weight is affected, or they might become underweight if they're severely stressed. Anyway, there's all these different symptoms that are affecting people physically. The other thing is that your job does affect your social life. It's the kind of thing where if you have a job that you dislike, you often find yourself complaining about it. So you meet someone new and it's, the usual, the job, I hate my boss, blah, 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 blah. And you're one of these complainer type people, which obviously affects your reputation socially and makes you less attractive as a person because your conversations might start to revolve around complaining. Or if you bottle it up and don't complain, you're still kind of like, same old. Like you're not as interesting and glowing of a person. So either way, it still is toxic to your happiness, whether you're bottling up what's going on at work or whether you're sharing it and complaining nonstop all the time. And the other thing is that I find so interesting is the connection between your job and your relationships. So most people think about their job and their career as completely separate from the romantic life. They see them as like polar opposites of their life, right? But I've noticed that if you're unhappy in your career, that's going to severely affect your partner. And oftentimes people are in denial about this because we're led to believe that these are such separate issues. But it really does affect every area of your life. Because I can't tell you how many people have come to me saying, Dahlia, can you please help my husband or my wife get their career together? Because it's really affecting our relationship. And I really, really wish he would just get that job and stop being unemployed. Or I really wish my wife would stop being in that toxic job where she's undervalued, where she's always crying, where she's always feeling down on herself, and get into something where she's more valued, where she's happier. Or please help me help my partner to figure out what their passion is, because they keep job hopping and they never seem to find the thing that is aligned with their high value skill set. Can you please help us? Or my partner is earning too little. I need someone who can really help to support our dreams together. Anyway, there's so many things that come up, but ultimately, no matter how supportive your partner is, you're going to face issues if you are unable to achieve career happiness for yourself. And it's something to think about, that if you can't find that career happiness, that is going to start affecting your personal relationships. And finally, if you're not in a relationship, but you would potentially like to attract one, like I mentioned before, that's going to affect your level of attractiveness. The people you meet who are aligned with their mission have a really special glow about them. I don't know if you've ever met someone like this, but if you have, you know what I'm talking about. These people are like radiating. Sorry, I just zoomed in somehow. I don't know how I did that. But these people are radiating. They're like, you can see that they're on a mission. You can see that they have a greater purpose in life. They're not just going through the motions, doing their 9 to 5. When you meet someone who has like a regular, boring job, but they don't really talk about their job because it's just not interesting, but that's where they spend the whole part of their day. So it's like you meet them and they just have nothing to talk about because they don't have an interesting job. There's few hours outside of work to people say have a hobby. Okay, great, but a hobby can only you only have so much time for a hobby, right? And no, work is not everything, but it is a pretty big part of your life. So you notice people who don't love their work, or even worse, actually dislike, resent their work. They don't have that glow, they don't have that radiance. And in fact, I've had a number of clients who were single when they started my program, and then once they started the program, once they figured out their mission and their career purpose, they just started going on much better dates. They had all these people interested in them all of a sudden, and it was so funny because they had all these job offers. I'm thinking especially of my client Sarah, who was kind of like lost and confused in a fog, and always thinking, what do I do with my life, etc. And then she started the process. All of a sudden she had all these job offers coming towards her, but she also had all these dates, and she had to sift through the job offers as well as sift through all these different dates that were being attracted towards her. So I just think it's something that's not talked about enough. We're always taught to completely separate personal and professional, but that's just not reality. The two things are definitely intertwined. You can't separate them. You can't pretend that you're this glowing, radiant, ready to go, amazing person, but then you hate your job. You hate your job all day long. The two, they're going to affect each other. So yes, let me know. I want to know below. Have you noticed this? Have you noticed people become less attractive when they're in a toxic job or a job they dislike, or more attractive when they are in a job that they love? And I'll see you on the next video.